Patricia, can you still hear me?
I can.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Patricia, can you still hear me?
I can.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Patricia, Patricia, I can only see a sliver of the table there with the commissioners. It's at the top of the video screen. I don't know if it's something on my end or your end.
I'll try a different view. One moment.
I can see the full screen now, but it's very small at the top. It's better than it was before.
You might be able to adjust the view on your end, Commissioner.
I have a larger view now, Patricia, but I can't hear anything.
All right, Commissioner Bukacek, can you hear us?
I can hear you now. Thank you.
Okay. All right, good afternoon, everybody. And Happy New Year. I got one good afternoon out of that. Happy New Year. Thank you. It's good to see you all. Time is now 1:05 p.m. Today's date is Friday, January 3rd, 2025. We are appearing at the commission offices in Helena. We are in the Bollinger Conference Room. I will call this meeting to order. Would my colleagues join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, as I referenced off camera, and I will now reference on camera, Commissioner O'Donnell is driving from Billings in this nasty weather. He did call a few short minutes ago and indicated he was in the East Helena vicinity, and he asked that we go into recess for a little bit so that he can appear at today's meeting. So the time is now 1:06 p.m. We will go into recess. We'll give him, I don't know, 15 minutes maybe. We will reconvene at 1:20 to continue on with today's business meeting. So everybody just sit tight. We will go into recess. All right, the time is now 1:20 p.m. We will come out of recess. Commissioner Bukacek, are you still with us?
I am.
Okay, very good. All right, before we went into recess, as averred, we were waiting for Commissioner O'Donnell to make his sojourn from Billings, Montana, and he has arrived safely, if not soundly. So welcome, Commissioner O'Donnell. We're glad you braved the trip to come here. All right, we had left off. We had done the Pledge of Allegiance. So it called the meeting to order, so I will do the roll call. Present in the Bollinger Room are Commissioner O'Donnell, Commissioner Pinocci, and myself. Commissioner Bukacek is online. Vice President Fielder is excused, so we do have quorum this morning. Montana Public Service Commission welcomes public comment on any matter that is on today's agenda or on any matter that is within the jurisdiction of the Montana Public Service Commission. Do we have any public commenters in the room? Any public commenters in the room? Seeing none, do we have any public commenters online? I am informed we do not, so no public comment this morning. Do have one announcement this morning. I am pleased that Senator Jeff Wellborn is in the room today. For those that have not met Senator Wellborn or do not know, Senator Wellborn was elected to serve the people of District 3 on the PSC and will be sworn in on January 6th to be my successor, but never my replacement, Jeff. The great thing about Senator Wellborn is we went to high school together many, many years ago. And second, he comes from the greatest county in Montana, Beaverhead County. So just get those facts out on the record. All right. We do not have any changes to the agenda today, so we will roll right into our action items. Action item number 1 is the approval of the commission minutes for the week of December 17, 2024. Is there a motion? Commissioner O'Donnell? All right, Commissioner O'Donnell's moved to adopt the draft minutes for the week of December 17th, 2024 as the final minutes. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Commissioner Pinocci has seconded. So we have motion and second. Discussion, changes, revisions, edits to the draft minutes, week of December 17th. Seeing none, all those in favor of Commissioner O'Donnell's motion to adopt the minutes signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed signify by saying no. Seeing no opposition, motion carries 4-0. Minutes are adopted. All right, let's go to work session items. Work session item number 1 is docket 2024.05.061. This is Montana Dakota Utilities. We're here to consider the application for authority to establish increased rates for natural gas service. More specifically, we're here to consider having the commission issue a notice of additional issue and schedule. Mr. Fink.
Good afternoon, President Brown, Commissioners. As you just mentioned, this is in docket 2024.05061. And before you is a draft notice of additional issue and schedule. This is Montana Dakota's application to increase rates for its natural gas service. Montana Dakota's Rate 88 tariff sets forth the procedure to be used in calculating Montana Dakota's gas cost tracking adjustments. Pursuant to its Rate 88 tariff, Montana Dakota must file annual tracking adjustments with the commission each year. The Rate 88 tariff contemplates annual tracking adjustments becoming effective on October 1st of each year. Montana Dakota typically files its annual request for a tracking adjustment in September and requests the adjustment to be approved on an interim basis beginning October 1st. In the interest of improving administrative efficiency for the filings mandated by Montana Dakota's Rate 88 tariff, the draft notice proposes the following additional issue for the parties' consideration of whether Montana Dakota's Rate 88 tariff should be modified to make its annual natural gas tracking mechanism rate adjustment automatically effective on an interim basis on October 1st of each year. Therefore, staff recommends a motion to approve the draft notice of additional issue and schedule and authorize staff to draft notice with any appropriate clerical edits. With me is Laura for any additional information and questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fink. Ms. Fahowski, anything to offer? Rad?
Not at this time. Thank you, Mr. President.
Question, please.
Commissioner O'Donnell?
Thank you. The way this is framed, it does not limit in any way commission's authority to intervene in that process. It's automatic as a convenience, not a prescription.
I can clarify that, Mr. Fink. So Commissioner O'Donnell, what we're doing is we're using our commission authority and discretion to raise an additional issue in the ongoing MDU rate case. Therefore, we are raising it sua sponte. It will not preclude any party to the existing case from weighing in on the issue that we're asking to be weighed in on. All right, is there a motion?
Move to
Commissioner
adopt.
O'Donnell.
Mr. President,
Commissioner O'Donnell,
move to adopt.
move to adopt staff recommendation.
Yes.
All right. Is there a second?
I would have given all the words except Grant couldn't even get them out, so I couldn't follow them.
I will second. So we have a motion and second discussion. Discussion? Well, I will support Commissioner O'Donnell's motion. I think that I just explained what the purpose of the action is today is to issue notice of an additional issue to be discussed in the MDU rate case that is pending before the commission. As I noted, the commission does have the authority to issue notices of additional issues that the commission itself believes should be considered by the parties. It does not bind. If we pass today's motion, it does not bind the commission to a position. Rather, it just brings it before the commission in manner that comports with due process to allow the commission to consider the matter as part of the case. Additional discussion? Additional discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Commissioner O'Donnell's motion signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed signify by saying no. Seeing no opposition, motion carries 4-0. All right, work session item number 2. This is docket 2024.05.053. This is a Northwestern Energy matter. We are here to consider the application to increase electric and natural gas service rates. More specifically, we are here to consider noticing an additional issue in this particular docket as well. Mr. Fink.
Good afternoon again, commissioners. This is identical to the previous docket that we just went through, except for in Northwestern's natural gas and electric rate case. At the end of May each year, Northwestern files an application pursuant to the terms of its natural gas tariff to implement gas cost tracking adjustment. This filing typically seeks an interim order granting a rate adjustment effective July 1st. The close timing between the filing of the application and the requested interim date, the requested effective date for interim rates leaves little time for the Consumer Council or Commission staff to review and comment on the interim request. In the interest of improving administrative efficiency, the draft notice proposes an additional issue for the parties' consideration of whether Northwestern's natural gas tariff should be modified to make Northwestern's annual gas tracking mechanism rate adjustment automatically effective on an interim basis on July 1 of each year. Considering this, staff recommends a motion to approve the draft notice of additional issue and schedule and authorize staff to issue the draft notice with any appropriate clerical edits. With me here is Amanda for any questions or additional information.
Amanda, anything to offer?
Nothing at this time. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Fink. I will move to approve the draft notice of additional issue and schedule and to further authorize staff to issue the draft notice with any appropriate clerical edits. Is there a second?
Second.
A motion and second. Discussion. Discussion. I'll just refer those listening to the remarks I made in the MDU case.
I have my hand raised.
Oh, I'm sorry, Commissioner Bukacek.
I will be voting to approve it, but I'm not sure either of these really represent due process.
All right, did you want to elucidate on that or,
Not at this time. Thank you.
okay? I'll go back to my remarks. I'll just refer those in the room and those interested in this docket to what I stated previously, that the commission is exercising its authority to notice up an additional issue in this matter, given the scheduling orders in this matter and the lengthy time between today's date and the hearings in this matter. There will be plenty of opportunity and process for the parties to weigh in on what the commission is noticing up today, should we adopt this motion. Further discussion? Further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of my motion signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed signify by saying no. Seeing no opposition, motion carries 4-0. All right. Work session item number 3. This is docket 2024.05.053. This is the Northwestern Energy docket. It's application to increase electric and natural gas rate service. We are here to address Northwestern Energy's motion to reconsider interim order number 7968 small e. Ms. Webster.
Good morning, President Brown and Commissioners. My name is Amanda Webster, and I'm a staff attorney with the Commission's Department of Public Service Regulation. As you know, Northwestern Energy filed a request for interim electric and natural gas rate adjustments in conjunction with its currently pending general rate case application. On November 26th, the Commission issued an interim order, which granted $8.4 million of Northwestern's requested $42.4 million electric base revenue requirement interim increase, granted in full Northwestern's requested natural gas base revenue requirement increase of $17.4 million, granted in full Northwestern's requested increases for both electric and natural gas property taxes, granted in full Northwestern's requested substantial decrease to its power costs and credits adjustment mechanisms base, and denied Northwestern's requested electric bridge rate. In Northwestern's December 6th motion for reconsideration, it only requests reconsideration of its electric base revenue requirement. Northwestern requests that the Commission approve an additional increase of $42.4 million to its electric revenue requirement for its transmission, distribution, and non-Yellowstone County generating station generation. On reconsideration, if the Commission believes its interim order is in any respect unjust or unwarranted, or should be changed, the Commission may modify the interim order. Before you is a draft order on reconsideration outlining staff's recommendations for addressing Northwestern's arguments, which we will go over shortly. In addition to Northwestern's arguments, staff also proposes an errata at the end of the draft order to address a number error in the introductory findings of facts section of the interim order. Finally, before moving on to our analysis, I want to note that confidential information has been redacted from page 4 of the public version of the draft interim order. This information is protected from public disclosure under a Commission protective order, and parties eligible to receive the confidential information may obtain it after filing a signed copy of the Universal Non-Disclosure Agreement for this docket. I'll now turn the presentation over to my regulatory counterpart to explain staff's analysis and recommendation.
Thank you, Amanda. Good morning, President Brown and Commissioners. My name is Brooke Umstead, and I'm a rate analyst in the Regulatory Division. As Amanda stated, the Commission previously approved an increase to Northwestern's base electric revenue requirement of $18.4 million. Northwestern argues for an additional $42.4 million on top of the already approved $18.4 million. Northwestern's motion contains 4 parts, including: first, Northwestern states the Commission's decision harms its financial health. Second, Northwestern argues the Commission relied on faulty rationale and ignores relevant information. Third, Northwestern states the Commission did not follow consistent standards. And last, Northwestern finds the Commission approved interim rates are a confiscatory taking. I will go through each part separately to present staff's analysis. First, regarding financial health, Northwestern provides an analysis in its motion where it compares the impact to Northwestern stock relative to the commission's discussion on MDU's interim in its natural gas rate case. Staff finds this analysis to be irrelevant. The commission's discussion has zero impact on Northwestern's earnings and investor returns. It's also new information beyond what was in the record. In the same analysis, Northwestern presents the impact to its stock when the commission approved in part Northwestern's electric interim request and approved in full its natural gas interim request. Northwestern even provides an analyst report attached to its motion and quotes the analyst saying, "Regulatory compacts apparently mean little in Big Sky country." It goes without saying that the commission sets rates in accordance with generally established principles of utility rate regulation, and not speculation and opinions from investment analysts. Nevertheless, a large portion of Northwestern's analysis relies on this report, which directly contradicts its motion. The analyst rates Northwestern stock as buy. I am skeptical to trust the report given the factual misstatements, but an investment rating of buy means Northwestern can continue to attract capital, and Northwestern's outlook is good. Next, Northwestern claims the commission relied on faulty rationale. Northwestern argues the commission should have utilized a normalized return on equity, or ROE, to assess the interim request. The normalized ROE reported in the interim application is 7.9%. Staff put more weight on Northwestern's actual earned ROE compared to normalized, as a large portion of the normalized ROE is forecasted, and staff finds actual earnings are more representative of the company's financial strength, especially when setting rates in a short interim period. And in following established principles of utility rate regulation, staff looked at more than just Northwestern's ROE for setting interim rates. Staff looked at Northwestern's ability to continue operating successfully, its credit ratings, its ability to attract investors, capital, and more. And then moving on next to Northwestern arguing that the commission did not follow consistent standards. Northwestern asserts the commission did not follow Administrative Rule 38.5506 Part 2 that states the commission shall calculate all interim rate increase requests in a general rate increase proceeding in the following manner. Subpart A states, test year booked net utility operating income and test year average rate base will be normalized and annualized when such test year data is available. This is Northwestern's argument using a normalized ROE versus actual earned that I mentioned previously. But Northwestern fails to include that subpart B of that same rule states that other adjustments may be made as deemed appropriate by the commission. The commission's interim order is consistent with this administrative rule and is in line with prior interim rate decisions. In fact, in Northwestern's prior general rate case, 2022-07078, the commission's interim decision was based on a preliminary analysis of the historical and current earnings and cash flow metrics of Northwestern. Northwestern did not contest the use of current earnings and cash flow metrics in that case. Northwestern also takes issue with the commission's holistic analysis when assessing financial health. The utility asserts it has two separate utilities with two separately approved ROEs. While staff agrees the electric and natural gas utilities are separate with different ROEs, staff finds it appropriate to assess the Montana utility as a whole for certain metrics such as credit ratings. And lastly, Northwestern argues the commission approved interim rates are confiscatory. Rates are confiscatory when they do not enable the company to operate successfully, to maintain its financial integrity, to attract capital, and to compensate investors for the risks assumed. As previously discussed, no part of the record or the motion before you today indicates that Northwestern cannot operate successfully, maintain its financial integrity, attract capital, or compensate its investors in the interim period. This is seen in Northwestern's consistent dividends to shareholders, its investment rating is buy, and its FFO, funds from operations to debt ratio, well above the downgrade threshold. Overall, staff recommends denying Northwestern's motion in its entirety, approving the drafted order on reconsideration with any necessary clerical edits. And Amanda, Tim, Grant, and I are all here in case you have questions. Thank you.
Nicely done, Ms. Umstead. Thank you. Mr. Fink, anything to offer?
Nothing additional, President.
Mr. Nerstead? All right. Thank you, staff. That was an excellent presentation. Colleagues, I'll move to approve the draft order on reconsideration as the final order on reconsideration as issued by the commission, and to further authorize staff to issue the draft order with any appropriate clerical edits. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Commissioner Panucci. Discussion. Commissioner O'Donnell, I see you raised your hand. Commissioner Bukacek, I'll call on you next. Commissioner O'Donnell.
Thank you very much. I wanted to comment a little bit on the attachment, the letter from Siebert et al. That Northwestern used as a incorporated into their motion right here. And I wanted to comment on a couple of things. One is that Northwestern, although their financial health is of great importance to this commission, the analysis that Siebert did indicated that they expect the company's share stock to reach $68 plus the dividends, which would be a total return or total yield or whatever the proper term is of over 30%. It sounds to me like they have a lot of confidence in the company while at the same time berating the commission. I find that to be very, very strange. As staff memo pointed out, the Siebert letters seem to contradict every point that Northwestern was making, except for the legal parts of procedure. I also wanted to comment, Siebert mentioned that commissioners in this commission have voted according to political reasons or biases. I take strong offense to that. I have never, ever done that or witnessed anybody using any political reason or motivation for voting on anything. Should that have occurred, I'm sure it would have been in favor of Northwestern's position. So I just wanted to point that out. I feel very strongly that staff has done a very, very fine job of addressing every one of the points very competently. I appreciate it very much, Mr. President.
Thank you, Commissioner O'Donnell. Commissioner Bukacek.
I guess I'm a little different. I'm the kind of person it's extremely hard to personally offend me. And what I've noticed in lawyers, both sides, all sides, that berating is fairly common, if you want to call it that. Anyway, I will be a no vote, a vote against denying Northwestern Energy their request for reconsideration. Denying reconsideration in this case would make the Public Service Commission vulnerable to reversal upon judicial review. Both sides have been well referenced, well researched, well stated. While I disagree with 3 points of Northwestern Energy's arguments, the rest of their arguments I find more compelling than those of our staff. I find particularly persuasive the arguments using Supreme Court rulings we on the commission utilize in rate cases related to the necessity of investor-owned utilities attracting capital, compensating investors for their risks they take, and those risks are sizable. I agree with them. We departed from the court cases and precedent we customarily use, including but not limited to generally established principles of utility rate regulation. Also, particularly compelling to me are their argument Roman numeral 5, starting on page 14, and the portion of their summary and conclusion where they stated, and I cannot give this enough emphasis, this is a quote, "The interim order is impermissibly one-sided and prioritizes customers on the surface while failing to do what is necessary for them in the long term by fulfilling the regulatory compact and maintaining Northwestern's financial health. So, and I have some more comments if I have another chance.
Commissioner Bukacek, you have the floor, if you will. I'd encourage you to finish out.
Thank you, sir. It's fairly short. So first, the three parts that I disagree with Northwestern Energy about, as our staff stated, and I agree, the Northwestern Energy referenced the stock price decline relative to its peers. And one investment analyst's opinion, there are many reasons why stock prices change in the absolute and relative measures to peers over any period of time. There are also potential other reasons why there were financial ramifications dating from our MDU decision, though I have no doubt that our MDU decision denying their rate increase caused investors to be concerned. I agree with Northwestern Energy's arguments in this case that declining to follow those generally established guidelines, by doing that, we violate the regulatory compact between the utility and the regulator. The utilities requirement is to provide safe and reliable service to all customers. The Public Service Commissioner's end of the compact is balancing customer protections with utilities' fair opportunity to recover and earn on their investments. We know this. If PSC responsibilities are not met, the utility cannot meet theirs. Keeping that balance is the reason for our generally established principles of utility rate regulation. I'm almost done. Pertaining to Northwestern Energy's argument, Roman numeral 5, in our decision, the Public Service Commission, and that includes me, did not adequately consider the premise of customer protection inherent in interim rates. Having studied both sides, I'm an unyielding no vote, and I regret I didn't vote properly on the first attempt. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner Bukacek. Additional discussion? Additional discussion? All right. I'll make very brief remarks on this matter in support of my own motion. I think it's interesting for me personally that this will be the last vote that I take as a member of the Public Service Commission. And what's interesting about it is, in addressing Commissioner Bukacek's remarks, is that 4 years on the commission, I am well aware that our job is to balance the interests of the regulated utilities with those of the customer. That is our mission here. It is not to side with one party in a proceeding or another. It's to fairly regulate matters before us. And I truly believe that having read Northwest Energy's motion for reconsideration, that they have not provided a basis for us to revise or reconsider our original decision on the interim rates. In fact, they have more than failed to provide justification for us to do so. Contrary to what Commissioner Bukacek has asserted, our initial order on interim rates fairly balance the interests of the regulated utility with those of the customer. I would note that should the commission adopt my motion, we will be rejecting Northwest Energy's attempt to add another $42.4 million to their rate base during the interim. I think that decision by the commission is justified, and I would note that this matter will proceed to a full hearing where all parties will have an opportunity to vet Northwest Energy's rate case, and a final decision on the merits of that will be made at that time. So I am going to support my own motion. All right, colleagues, a good discussion on this
Any
matter.
more discussion possible?
Commissioner Bukacek, generally we don't allow back and forth, but since this is my last hearing, I will gladly defer to you.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. You said that they more than failed justification in their request. And in my experience, 2 years versus 4 to 8 of the other commissioners there, in my opinion, chronically, we do not adequately consider the importance of investors and them getting adequately compensated for the gigantic risks that they take. That is, it seems to be a chronic problem that I think needs to be addressed better.
All right, Commissioner Vukacek. Additional discussion? Additional discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of my motion signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. All those opposed signify by saying no.
No.
All right. Motion carries vote of 3-1. All right. Thank you, staff. Excellent job on the briefing and presentation on this. Very much appreciated. All right. Before we get into the announcements for the next commission business, I would like to take a point of personal privilege to allow both myself and Commissioner O'Donnell to say any remarks as we depart the commission and our time on the same. So Commissioner O'Donnell.
Thank you, Mr. President. I will say that it has, try and do this without breaking up emotionally as I did the last time, which totally surprised me. But what didn't surprise me is my level of emotion for this commission. I love the commission. I love the job. I don't love the commute every week from 249 miles from Billings, especially in weather conditions like today. I will miss this work. I will try and stay. I won't have the same avenues of information as I've had before, but I'll try and keep informed. And from time to time, you may see me to comment on individual cases or legislation in this area. I wanted to say staff has been incredible, absolutely incredible. I feel that I have been well informed by staff on every aspect of every issue that I've voted on. And my hat's off to you. Thank you very much. And Happy New Year.
All right, Commissioner O'Donnell, well, let me thank you for your work on this commission for the last 8 years. You have been very diligent in the work that you personally have brought here. And you have done this job in a manner that was befitting the position. I know you took the job seriously, and you can't ask for much more than that. So I will give my closing remarks. I wrote mine out for fear of also getting emotional. So, dear team PSC, in a few short days, my 4-year term on the PSC will expire. And in turn, the next chapter of my career will begin with my swearing in on Monday as Montana's 18th auditor. Seems just like yesterday I was being sworn in as the new commissioner from District 3 down in my hometown of Dillon with Judge Berger, as we both wore masks because of the COVID pandemic. So you can imagine that my picture of my swearing in is not the most opportune one, but it is reflective of a period of Montana history. And thanks to that COVID-19 pandemic, I appeared a few short days, well, it's the next day, in fact, here at the commission offices in Helena, where I was welcomed with a empty office building, except for you, Tina. Miss Tina Shorten did greet me, so I appreciate that, Tina. I've never forgotten that. And a legislative appropriations hearing on the agency budget scheduled for 3 days later. And I hadn't seen the agency budget. I didn't know what I would be testifying to, what we were asking for, but we did throw it together, and I did appear successfully, if you will. And in the blink of an eye, here we are, eve of my departure from the agency. So I state now that it has been an honor to serve on the Montana Public Service Commission and to work alongside each of you. Needless to say, my time here has been both professionally and personally memorable. Together, we have tackled and overcome every challenge thrown at us. Those challenges ranging from reforming agency operations, which were in dire need of reforming when I appeared here in January 2021, to addressing weighty contested case matters, including the ones that we were just discussing this afternoon. Some of my fondest professional experiences are the result of our shared experiences, these past 4 years. When I was first elected in 2020, I was familiar with the work of the PSC due to my legal work on behalf of QFs and on behalf of waste haulers, but I had no true comprehension on the impact to Montanans of the decisions made here until actually sitting in this chair. By serving in this role, I've been fortunate to work side by side with extraordinary staff, regulated parties, stakeholders, utilities, interveners, and others for the benefit of Montana citizens. I'm very appreciative of having been part of and party to the many decisions made by this body to ensure fair, just, and reasonable rates for Montana's families. I'm proud of the work we have accomplished together. The work that this agency performs is meaningful and impactful, and I encourage you never to forget that. Looking forward, I'm very excited for each of you, both commission staff and my commission colleagues, as you tackle and address the changing nature of utility regulation. This really is an exciting time to be a commissioner. Senator Wellborn, this is particularly true in the area of energy regulation, where level-headed deliberation will be required as Montana finds itself more and more involved in regional and national discussion about the evolving energy ecosystem. Upon reflection, I can truly describe this elected position as one of the most interesting positions in state government. I mean that sincerely. It is a fascinating job every day. And serving as a PSC commissioner has been made all the more enjoyable by the intellectually stimulating opportunities I encountered here. So many thanks to each of you, particularly my commission colleagues, Commissioner O'Donnell, Commissioner Pinocci, Commissioner Bukacek, and Vice President Fielder, for making this time together more rewarding than I could have ever expected. I will certainly miss the work here, but most important, I will miss each of you. Okay. Future commission business meeting. So to the happy side, Monday, January 6th, we will have 2 new commissioners sworn in, and Vice President Fielder will be sworn in for her second term. For the public, the commissioners will be sworn in here at the commission in the Bollinger Room, 2 o'clock. Senator Wellborn and Senator Molnar, former Commissioner Molnar as well, to be future Commissioner Molnar, will be sworn in. As I stated, Vice President Fielder will be sworn in for a second term. You're welcome to come to the commission at 2 o'clock on Monday for the swearing in, and we will have some victuals and drinks for you as we vet the new commission. And then most importantly, for those that will be serving on the commission come Tuesday, January 7th, 2025, at the next business meeting, the election for president and vice president will occur at that time. So my commission colleagues who will be continuing on be at that meeting. And with that being stated, thank you, everybody. As Commissioner O'Donnell stated, Happy New Year to each of you. I hope 2025 is a prosperous and happy one for each of you. Time is now 1:58 p.m. I will adjourn today's meeting.